All right, so we just watched a movie called Enys Men. Enys Men.
Maine?
Yeah.
Man.
No.
What?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. It's Cornish for Stone Island.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Enys Men.
Nope. Nope.
Mm.
I looked it up on Google and it said Enys Men
Okay.
is how you pronounce it. So there you go.
Alright.
I honestly don't give a shit. So what's the plot? What do you got? A woman's on a stone island by herself, or is she? And she's like taking detailed reports of the temperature fluctuation in the soil regarding the flowers that are growing. What it
Lichen?
lichen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't liking this movie.
I wasn't either.
If you want to call this a film. Okay, so this is an art house experimental thing that the critics will blow, and people who like to stare at pretty imagery and claim that it's profound. This is your film.
Yeah.
But for us, for me, because I can speak for myself, this is some boring ass nothing kind of movie that shows, yeah, it's a pretty movie. It's, you can talk about that because that was your part.
Yeah, it looked gorgeous. I love the way that it's shot. I think that there's some really like beautiful imagery and all of that was great, but I was so bored.
Yeah.
Like the entire film, I just had no interest, and like it is just an art project. Like it's an art piece, and that's fine. Like that's people want to make those kinds of movies, and for some people they really love that style of film and filmmaking, and I don't love it all the time. I like when those elements are like put into a more like standard storytelling like film.
Had the film had creepier imagery more often and still went about being almost completely dialogue-less, right? There's like, what, outside of some prayer or whatever the hell in the church,
There's
there's
hardly any
what,
dialogue.
20
Maybe.
words spoken in
Yeah.
this film? And it's
Such
just
minimal dialogue.
you're talking about like close-up shots of grass, a hill, a rock, the side of a house, and that probably comprises 60 minutes of the runtime right there.
Yeah.
So you're just kind of like, okay, here we go again, and she's taking another note. That's just no change.
A movie that is this movie but way better in my opinion is Shepherd.
Oh,
Like
sure.
that has all the elements that I feel like this movie that you would like the isolation, the setting, like the location is really cool, and that kind of like dark, gritty, like kind of fever dream, nightmare type stuff that's going on. I think Shepherd does that super well. But with this, like as you said, like if there was more creepy imagery, like I would enjoy it more. But I feel kind of gypped because honestly, like when we saw this trailer in theaters, I was like super excited for it because the trailer was like really fast cuts from what I remember, like showing all this like all of the cool scenes basically in the movie, and it just seemed like it was gonna be like a really neat like nightmarish 70s inspired film, like folk horror-ish.
Sure.
And I was interested in it based on the trailer, and I feel like the trailer does not accurately represent what this movie is. It's so slow and so like just nothing.
Yeah.
And I hate like when we have to review things like this too, because I'm sure that the filmmaker like cared about this work, and it means a lot to them, and they did a good job for themselves and everything. And obviously they should be proud of their creation.
Sure.
And I do think that there are some good qualities to this, but I just hate giving reviews where I'm like I was bored and I didn't like it, but
Well, especially when it's supposed to be some like intelligent art house movie.
I know, because then I also feel
look
dumb.
like dumb people, and it's like,
But
I don't feel that way because, like, as you had said, Shepard's a great comparison. It has very similar visual imagery as far as the landscape goes.
yeah.
It's got that, like, now this is Cornish, but I think Shepard is like Scottish
Or what?
or Welsh or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but regardless, it has those kind of like grassy hilled landscapes with like stone buildings, and you know, you have to kind of piece together imagery to understand a story that's being put together. But that film has an atmosphere and a dread.
Yes.
This film has zero to me.
Yeah.
I felt zero atmosphere out of this film. I thought that it looked great.
Yeah.
If you're like, this does a very good job of imitating like 70s cinema.
Yes.
Right? It has that 70s film feel to it. So
Which is,
the film grain and the way that it's shot, it has that. It just doesn't have
Super
anything else.
gorgeous.
And, you know, for every type of movie like this, that kind of like art house, experimental type fever dream kind of thing, even though there's not really a fever dream going on here. This is just pretty boring, honestly.
Yeah.
But this reminds me of something like, you know, when we watched Caveat.
Oh my god.
And we felt very similar to that, as opposed to another film like Caveat, but works wonderfully because of its imagery, because of its atmosphere, because of its eeriness, is Possum.
Yeah.
Right, where you have very little dialogue. Basically, the entire film is, you know, a collection of really odd moments and shots of creepy things, but there's just this kind of like dread the whole time when you're watching Possum. Shepard, there's this incredible atmosphere where I feel like I'm in a nightmare.
Yeah.
And in this, I don't feel that at all.
No.
So for any of our watchers who are like, you know, I don't like A24 because it's too slow.
Oh my god.
This is A24 on Ambien.
Yeah.
This is slower than any A24 film. Like, the slowest A24 film I've ever seen was that...
Lamb?
No. Freaking... there's some... Oh, fuck. I always forget the title of this movie with Joel Edgerton. It Comes at Night. It Comes at Night is like so slow. The whole time I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. Way more happens in that movie than this.
It's super
This
slow.
is just literally a woman going out, taking the temperature in the soil, writing down her findings every day, and then looking at her house, looking at a rock, looking at a mine shaft, seeing a couple faces of like old miners or kids that are walking, some dude that brings her petrol, and some girl who lives at her house. I think it's her daughter. I don't know. And she constantly is like standing on top of a part of the house. And that is like, I pretty much described 98% of this film to you.
Yeah.
And that is just it's just recycling those images over and then and her looking at her body
Yeah.
in the mirror. And she has like a scar across her stomach. And she keeps looking at like her naked body, whether she's in the bathtub or in the mirror. That is, it's hard to say spoilers. This is a film where I don't even have to worry about spoilers in any way, shape, or form. Because I could tell you every single detail of this film. And I don't think I'd be spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what's going on. Therefore, I'm not spoiling it.
Yeah.
There's nothing to spoil. There is no reveal where you're going to be like, oh. Now, there are going to be people. They're going to have the videos online. the explained videos, and they're gonna be like, oh,
sure.
it's because of this, and that is symbolic of life, and
Man,
this is like that kind of shit. Like, I get it. You're smarter than me. I'm
just...
still not entertained, right, at all. So I'm too dumb for this movie, I guess, and I'm okay with that.
There's just such different styles of filmmaking in the world, and like I was saying, like, I like abstract moments in film. I like things to get really weird and surreal. Like, I'm a big fan of surrealism, but I don't like it when there is no...
Did you not turn off?
I didn't realize I didn't turn that off.
That's funny.
Oh. I don't like it when there's not, like, some type of, like, story that I can follow, because I think the thing that I like so much about film, like the same thing that I like about, like, reading and stuff, is, like, characters and, like, going into, like, character development and the plot. Like, those types of things I'm really into, and this type of film is more like, it's like a painting or something. Like, it's not... It just isn't the same thing to me. And you're right. Like, some people will have those, like, explained, you know, and that's fine. Like, those kinds of video essays, like, those are more interesting to watch than the film itself. Like, 100%. You watch those instead of watching the film. And that's kind of a shame, because it's like, what's the point of the film then if you can just have somebody be like, look at all these things that we can put together that are symbolic of whatever, and do it in a more, like, you know, cohesive and, like, entertaining way. I don't know.
Could I go back and watch this movie and glean something from it and, like, put together some video essay being like, the flowers represent the decay of blah, blah, blah? Sure, I could. Would I want to? Do I have any interest? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not, because this movie doesn't make me want to be excited about thinking about what it all means.
Yeah.
Right? When I watched Possum, when I watched Shepherd, I got done with those and I was confused. Like, what did I just watch? But I loved it. And so I would be inclined to break down those and try to figure out what the symbolisms, the metaphors are. With something like this, just don't give a shit. So if this is your kind of deal, you like this film, then of course you're going to be much more excited to delve into the, Cornish lore and all that. I'm sure there's some attachment to that kind of, imagery or something about miners or Stone Islands or something that's relevant to that culture or something that we're missing too.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that the people that are meant to find this film, like, find it and love it and, support that type of movie. But I think, like, most people on art that are, watching our reviews are you're not gonna like this.
Hell no.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe some of you will, but
very
I think
few.
Very few. So
very
this
few.
is not a recommendation.
God,
it's a big disappointment. I kind of feel like we wasted, an hour and a half.
Yeah. I would have much rather watched 2 Bates Motel episodes.
100%. But that's okay. We watched it so you don't have to. So
yes,
subscribe and join the Patreon and the members. And thank you to all the members and patrons currently.
Yes.
We don't say that enough.
Well, no, we do not. Join us, dumbasses who don't understand brilliant art films like this. Come watch dumb 80s slashers
with,
from the
titties and gore
from the golden era. Where just tits and gore. No, it's funny. That's not like. Yeah, I love that.
I mean, we do love slashers, but we
I love. Stuff. I mean, Hereditary is like my favorite fucking film.
Oh my gosh!
Of the last like 20 years. People find that to be
slow and that's
pretentious,
wild to me.
And I'm like,
but we love lots of movies like that.
Bro.
The Witch, right? The Witch.
The Witch.
So
I'm
many.
sure I can name
so
100 of those fucking things that we've watched lately that are like that A24 style.
Yeah,
I fucking love those movies.
But that's not this.
This is not this at all.
This is like a Skinamarink. Like, that's what it's like. Except, obviously, you see more in this, but it's the same kind of thing to me where I feel like so much is being asked of the viewer, and none, like, it just doesn't feel like the film is doing any work for you, and we're not lazy viewers, so it's not like we don't want to work for, you know, meaning and everything, but it's just not our thing.
I feel like we're defending our opinion because we don't want to be labeled as dumb.
I know.
I'm okay with being dumb.
No, I mean,
in
it's
this
okay.
way. If this is what it means to be smart, I'm okay being dumb. That's what I'm going to say about this film.
Yeah.
If this is like some kind of fucking IQ test, then I'm fine being a moron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, I'm excited for.
The hell?
What? Hi.
Anyway.
Evil Dead Rise this week.
Beau's afraid. We're gonna figure out that. Don't worry. Our dog is preventing us from seeing shit.
Yeah.
Because we have no one to watch him. We had to cancel our trip to Vegas. We've had to really restrict ourselves.
Because of this mongrel.
Yep. Does anybody want to watch him?
You want to watch him?
You can have him.
Puppy sit? No, you can't have him, but you can hang out with him.
All right. Until next time.
Bye.